Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Citi Prime News. The news is live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. My name is Zoe Abube-Eduardo. Coming up, leading member of the Movement for Change, Hopsing Adoye, granted bail after alleging he was part of an orchestration that detonated a dynamite to intimidate voters in the Volta region in 2016. Also coming up, residents of Drapa raised questions about a decision to transfer the case involving the murder of the chief executive officer of the Royal Cozy Hills Hotel to Kumasi.
The person who generated the petition to the Chief Justice has an interest in the matter. We also have an interest in the matter. The whole Upper West region has an interest in the matter. The state has an interest in the matter. So are you going to just sit down and just consider one petition to the Chief Justice and the case has been transferred?
Still to come, nursing trainees begin receiving allowances after months of mounting pressure on government. Despite these recent payments, they are still urging the government to fast-track the payment of the outstanding arrears.
The second and third year batch, they have received 3 months of the arrears. That's worth 1,200 Ghana cedis. The second years, they were having about 50 months in arrears. Third years, were having about 27 months in arrears.
This bulletin is also live across our partner stations. In the Western region, we are on Premier FM 100.5 in Takrady and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. In the Volta region, you can hear us on Akpini Radio 96.7 in Pando, Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi. Northern region, Dasuma 99.1 in Yendi. Upper East, Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu. Upper West, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the Northeast region, we're on Eagle FM 94.1 in Wale Wale. Across the globe, we are live on citinewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for your time this afternoon. We begin from the Dansoman Circuit Court, which today granted Hopsing Adoye, a leading figure in the Movement for Change, a 20,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties. The decision followed Mr. Adoye's arrest and subsequent court appearance on Thursday, May 23, 2024. Mr. Adoye was arrested after making claims on an Accra-based radio station, which has since gone viral, alleging that dynamites were detonated in the Volta region during the 2016 general elections. Meanwhile, former Member of Parliament for Adenta, Yabwabinga Samoa, in an earlier interview with Citi News, described the arrest as politically motivated.
Again, reports indicate that he said on radio that he aided in the orchestration of a dynamite explosion in the year 2016 during the general election in the Volta region. At the time, you were in the party. Are there any truth?
I'm not aware that any such thing happened. I am not aware that any such thing happened. So I can't speak to it.
Okay. So how long are you going to be here?
Well, as long as it takes to resolve this injustice. He responded to the invitation politely. He didn't resist. So one would least expect that in being invited by the police, you will end up being detained by them, because it was a civilized process. We all live in a democracy. You would need to at least make the person prepare themselves if you had any such malevolent intentions against him. So really, it's not fair.
You heard Yao Boabinga Sama, who is a member of the Movement of Change, and he was speaking in an earlier interview when Mr. Hopsing Adoye was arrested. He was speaking to my colleague Fauzu Masaudu. Away from that, some residents of Drapa in the Upper West region have expressed misgivings about a decision by the High Court sitting in Wa to halt proceedings on the case involving the murder of the Chief Executive Officer of the Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, Mr. Eric Johnson. The court during Wednesday's hearing announced that it could not proceed with the case due to a claim by lawyers of the accused that the Chief Justice had directed that the case be transferred to Kumasi. But the decision did not go down well with members of the Drapa community who were in court to witness proceedings. Here are some residents expressing their dissatisfaction with the transfer.
The question we are asking is that what is the content of the said petition that generated the results from the Chief Justice? Because it means a petition was sent as stated in court that the A1, his mother was the one who wrote the petition. So that means if we also raise a petition here to the Chief Justice that this is the jurisdiction in which the murder took place, is it going to also warrant a reversal of the matter? Because it means the person who generated the petition to the Chief Justice has an interest in the matter. We also have an interest in the matter. The whole Upper West region has an interest in the matter. The state has an interest in the matter. So are you going to just sit down and just consider one petition, one letter written by a mother to to the Chief Justice, and the case has been transferred?
For the disappointment that there's an intervention coming from the Chief Justice, but we are there, but we don't understand what it is. Our interest is we want to see the end of the whole case here. That's why I think we leave the office and come here to listen to what is happening. But if it's in Kumasi, we can't go there.
The killing occurred in Drapa within the Upper West region. Why should the case be transferred to Kumasi? We demand that it be tried here. We will not accept its transfer to Kumasi. Moving the case there would delay us justice. The crime was committed here, so the local court should handle the matter.
You heard there some residents of Drapa in the Upper West region expressing misgivings about the transfer of the case involving the murder of the Chief Executive Officer of the Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, Mr. Eric Johnson. Now, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has raised concerns over alleged irregularities in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise and the issuance of Ghana cards in the Pusiga constituency. The NDC accused the Chief Executive Officer of the National Food Buffer Stock Company and the parliamentary candidate of the New Patriotic Party, the NPP, for Pusiga, Hanan Abdul Wahab, of facilitating these illegal actions. Speaking at a press conference, the NDC Communications Officer for the Pusiga constituency, Alale Baba Atimbela, highlighted multiple concerns, accusing the governing NPP of engaging in unlawful activities to manipulate the electoral process.
Fairness and credibility of the electoral system. We are concerned over the suspicious timing of the National Identification Authority carrying out an exercise of registering process, issuing instant Ghana cards to foreigners in Pusiga along our border towns. The NIA, known for its slow and laborious registration process for Ghanaians, has suddenly expedited the issuance of cards to foreigners, potentially aiding the MPP in bringing in more non-residents to vote in the upcoming election. Ladies and gentlemen, and the media, this blatant manipulation must be stopped, and we call on the NIA to halt this discriminate practice immediately. We call upon the National Identification Authority to cease and desist from the selective express registration service currently being implemented in Pusiga constituency. This targeted approach, which facilitates the expedited issuance of Ghana card to the foreigners, must be halted immediately to uphold the integrity and fairness of the electoral process. We have received credible information, the media, that the MPP candidate attempts to use another cunning tactics to influence non-citizens to transfer their votes to Pusiga. Reports indicate that non-citizen residents from the Royal College of Education are being bribed with cash incentive to transfer their votes to Pusiga with promise of paying fees for about 500 students at the Royal College of Education. We warn all non-residents against succumbing to these deceitful schemes, as such actions will only undermine the integrity of the electoral process and will not be tolerated.
Alale Baba Timbela is the NDC Communications Officer for the Pusiga constituency. We still stay with the elections or the limited voter registration exercise, and the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, has called on the Electoral Commission to be flexible in its schedule to accommodate eligible voters in hard-to-reach areas during the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Despite numerous appeals for an extension, the EC has maintained that the exercise will conclude on Monday, May 27. In an interview with City News, a member of CODEO, Gilfred Esiamwabuating, suggested that the EC must establish additional workstations in densely populated areas to ensure that all eligible voters have the opportunity to register before the deadline.
Even whilst we are having the registration taking place at the district offices, the commission can dispatch some of the people or some of the workstations that they have ended their work. They can dispatch them to those areas to ensure that they continue to register the people within the limited time that is left for the registration. At the same time, in some places, the Salt Pond area, they have been recording high numbers. And are you saying that on the last day, you are not going to allow people to register because you fixed the target, you've achieved the target, and it's 21 days? What should those people do? That's where they belong to, and it's not their fault. So either the commission adopt different strategies to ensure that in those areas that they are recording high numbers consistently, either they increase the number of workstations to take care of the backlog so that everyone gets the fair chance to register, and also deploy people to areas that they think on the last day or where people have justifiable case to make, and they are making. They should actually be responsive as they did in the first 2 days when we encountered those challenges.
Gilfred Isiama Boateng is a member of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO. Meanwhile, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, says it is keenly monitoring the process as well as the projections of the EC. Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer is Deputy Director of Elections and ICT.
We are monitoring the projections that they put out. You know, they said they will register about 623,000. That's the projection they put out, the EC. We also have our projections. We are looking at the numbers. We are monitoring the numbers closely. And I thought it was too early for Mr. Tete to have said that they would not extend it. He should have waited at least 48 hours to the end of the registration. We can look at the numbers. We can look at the queues and all that. And that one will give us an insight as to whether to extend or not to extend. But to bluntly come out and say, well, we are not extending just because it's coming from NDC running late. That is why they are doing this. This is our thinking. And I mean, that is not the way to go.
You heard Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, who is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the National Democratic Congress. Now, the Coalition for Democratic Accountability and Inclusive Governance has indicated that it may be forced to explore legal avenues in the transaction between the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, and the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Brian Champong. It's not halted. The group has raised concerns about a potential conflict of interest and has demanded details on how the minister's company, Rock City Hotel, won the bid to purchase the 4 hotels. In an interview with City News, a member of the coalition, Edem Senanu, stated that they will explore all necessary avenues to ensure transparency and accountability in this transaction.
When there has been an illegality, there has been an illegality. So one has to review the process. So I don't think that the horse has bolted. I think there's still opportunities. SNIT itself has said they recognize and acknowledge that SRAG is investigating the way to see. I think that is the way to go. Our position is that fundamentally the reasons even provided raise red flags, let alone the processes and the methodology, what the money is going to be used for, how it's going to generate the objectives they set out. There's no clarity on any of these. I think that there is still time to make those amends if we as a country want to do that. If we get to a place where we think that it is necessary to take court action, we discuss that, look, we haven't been to court. If we have to, we'll get to a point where our assessment is that the coalition needs to do that. That is definitely an option that will be explored.
You heard a member of the Coalition for Democratic Accountability and Inclusive Governance, Edem Senanu. This is still Citi Prime News. We are coming to you live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. Stories we've been bringing you so far. Leading member of the Movement for Change, Hopsing Adoye, granted bail after alleging he was part of an orchestration that detonated a dynamite to intimidate voters in the Volta region in 2016. Residents of Drapa raised questions about a decision to transfer the case involving the murder of the CEO of Royal Cozy Hills Hotel to Kumasi. Still ahead in this bulletin, nursing trainees begin receiving allowances after months of mounting pressure on government. We'll bring you the details of this and others shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Are you a JHS student in Ghana? Are you a wordsmith with a passion for development? Do you have a way with words that captivates and inspires? If so, then join the Literacy Challenge 2024 now. The nationwide search for the most outstanding junior high school students in Ghana is on. Do you think that it could be you who goes home with 10,000 Ghana cedis and a glitzy trophy? Then, in not less than 600 words, write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana. What changes would you like to see, and how can young people contribute to making them happen? Script must be in your own handwriting. Script must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details. Deadline, Saturday the 13th of July, 2024. Submit entries to the front desk of Citi TV or Citi FM or P.O. Box GP 14123, Accra Central. For inquiries, call 0205 973 973. The Literacy Challenge 2024 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM, supported by Citi TV, and is sponsored by Ghana National Gas Company, Alive Soap, and Fortune Spread.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You all come back. Some members of the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Trainees Association have begun receiving allowances owed them by the government. At a meeting with the nurses and midwives on May 14, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, promised that the Finance Ministry will transfer over 177 million cedis to pay allowances to nursing trainees by Thursday, May 16. In an interview with Citi News, President of the association, Pascal Adombila, said the trainees began receiving the allowances on Tuesday, May 21.
The second and third year batch, they have received 3 months of the arrears. That's where 1,200 Ghana cedis. The second years, they were having about 50 months in arrears. Third years, were having about 27 months in arrears.
And they paid how many out of these?
3 months. The first years have not received. Those people who just completed 2023 have not also received. 2022 batch have not received. The 2018 batch who have not received. From the PR of the Ministry of Health, he said that there will be payment from today to other batches as well through the end of the week. But certainly, we've not received any payment as of today. We are still hoping that the money will be paid as he said.
Pascal Adombela is the president of the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Trainees Association. Ghana's quest to select a company by December 2024 to commence the building of its first nuclear power plant has been met by mixed reactions from key stakeholders. Already, companies from France, China, and Russia have shown interest. Ghana, like other African countries, is increasingly looking to the possibility of nuclear power to close supply gaps in a country where several people lack access to electricity. In view of this, energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleimana has called on the government to look out for companies with a good track record of developing nuclear plants.
The company should have that proven track record of building nuclear reactors, especially the area of safety. And so if you look at the countries that I mentioned, I think I don't have any objection with respect to any of the countries. Of course, I know Russia, they are doing quite well. And if I had to select, I will be biased with respect to Russia. But I do know France also who have credible nuclear reactors. China is not also doing bad. So I think those companies or those countries mentioned are just countries to start with. And I don't have any principal objection with respect to any of the countries, especially the fact that nuclear reactor or nuclear power is critical Also, the containment measure with respect to nuclear meltdown, should it happen, is equally quite important. And so that country should have that proven track record to be able to put such mitigations in place should we have any meltdown.
That was an energy strategist, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana. The Center for Democratic Development Ghana, CDD Ghana, has expressed satisfaction with the release of the KPMG report concerning the contract between the Ghana Revenue Authority, the GRA, and Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML. President Akufo-Addo released the report saying it was in the interest of transparency and openness. This was after he earlier declined to grant a request by the Media Foundation for West Africa for the publication of the report. In an interview with Citi News, the Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at CDD Ghana, Dr. Kojo Asante, said although the release sets good precedents, the President should respond more promptly to such requests in the future.
What then should happen? Because there are public officers who took these decisions. What's supposed to happen to them? Because if we don't respect these laws and allow public money to be expended this way, we cannot just close our eyes, to these things. Then we are not really holding people accountable. And this is the reason why you are getting so many kind of infractions and so on in the system. So I think the full report, the release, even in terms of the value for money arrangement that SML and GRA is making, we still didn't get any information on what kind of investment SML has made to warrant what they say, a fee for performance arrangement. So I have many questions that I think needs to be followed up to allow this arrangement to go in whatever way that we are thinking about. So I think the release is important. It sets a good precedent in terms, even though we have to go to the RCI, but we should expect that there should be proactive disclosure from the presidency once it took the matter up and said it was in the public interest to do that.
Dr. Kojo Asante is the Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the Center for Democratic Development Ghana, CDD Ghana. Now, the Supreme Court has adjourned a case filed by Imani Africa and Professor Kwesienin challenging the powers of the President to terminate the appointment of key public officers, including the Inspector General of Police, Chief Fire Officer, and Comptroller General of Immigration Service, except for stated misbehavior. The case was called for hearing on Thursday, but that did not happen as the state is yet to file its responses. The legal representative of the state requested 7 days to file the appropriate responses, a plea that has been granted by the Apex Court. The chief economist of the APSA Group, Jeff Gable, is predicting a further depreciation of the cedi, though it may recover if the debt restructuring process concludes swiftly. He shared these insights at a management seminar for corporate investment clients designed to aid clients in making informed business decisions. The chief economist noted that a downward trend in the prices of commodities such as gold and cocoa is a contributing factor to the cedi's depreciation.
We need to take one step further back, though, and ask what conditions allow a country to get in that space. And I suppose the fiscal slide, with budget deficits that are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11% of GDP, are the primary part that would make it very difficult for a country like Ghana to be in that space. So you almost need to do the hard work first, right? You need to bring about a much more sustainable environment, and then that will deliver in that space interest rates that are much lower, a currency that's much less volatile. The difference that you see between one country and another suddenly becomes smaller. An FX environment where FX flows more freely and more vibrantly will tend to reduce some of the spreads that we're talking about as well. We see plenty of examples, positive examples here on the continent, and we see some horrific examples elsewhere, right? So that spread is really just an environment of country earning FX, being willing to provide FX. And reserves aren't necessarily the answer in that space, because at some point, if you're willing to use your reserves to shrink that.
That was the chief economist of the ABSA group, Jeff Gable. Now, the Department of Parks and Gardens says it has commenced an exercise to remove huge trees in Accra that have the tendency to fall during rainstorms. According to the department, a number of trees in cantonments and along the 37 to Tetekwashi stretch have weak roots and will be removed immediately. This action comes in response to trees falling during rainstorms which destroy cars and block roads. Speaking to City News, the National Director for the Department of Parks and Gardens, Dr. Daniel Kinsley Adams, says the roots of most trees in the city are now weak because of construction.
So cantonment areas, all the trees there, all the dangerous trees that we have planted will go down. When you come from 37 military hospital to Tetekwashi, most of the trees at the roadside are very dangerous. So it was planted by the late Sir Lieutenant J.D. Lawrence, I think in 1998. Most of them are weak now. So we are going to cut all the canopy, we'll make it sakura, so that when there's any storm, it wouldn't cause any havoc to vehicle movement.
Dr. Adams also cautioned motorists to desist from parking under large trees during this period.
Please don't park under a tree when it is raining. And if you are also a pedestrian or if you are just walking by the roadside, please don't go and hide under a tree that you are waiting for the rain to subside and go. The tree can fall at any time due to the nature of our trees in Ghana now. Most of their trees, their rooting system has been severe due to construction.
National Director for the Department of Parks and Gardens, Dr. Daniel Kinsley Adams. Now, organized labor has described a plan by leader of the New Force movement to dredge the sea to Kumasi as a practical policy which will benefit the country. Nana Kwame Bediakun's proposal has been questioned by critics, but organized labor urged Ghanaians to reassess the plan. Speaking at a meeting between the New Force government movement and the Trades Union Congress, TUC of Ghana, to present the 16 industrial policies of the New Force movement, the Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Anthony Yauban, said the proposal presented by the leader of the movement has been seriously misconstrued.
And if you look at the river systems, when you dredge a crack, a tunnel, a beer, and the rest, it's easily linked to Sekepus. And his point was that why should we use our roads to cut things? We can actually use our river systems. Once we dredge it properly, the vessels can use it. And they can transport it from Accra to the north. God has given us a huge river that we are not using. Because many people don't really understand that policy.
You heard there the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Anthony Yauban, speaking about the plan by leader of the New Force movement to dredge the sea to Kumasi as a practical policy. That'll be all for Citi Prime News. We came to you live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. You can log on to our website, citynewsroom.com, for more news. My name is Zoe Abubedu Ado. Many thanks for listening. Have a good afternoon.
Citi News, we speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.